What is happening, guys? We're back again, the off-track experience. We're here in beautiful Tasmania. We just finished up the national championships in Medina, and I was lucky enough to sit down with the newly crowned champion, Connor Freaon, which is pretty cool. Pick his brain on like everything mountain biking, including the growth in mountain biking in Tasmania and how it's kind of how we can transfer that over to the mainland. We go in depth with him, his racing with Troy, and how they've kind of pushed each other over the last 16 years and how they kind of helped them grow as people and riders at the same time, and go into how they both ended up on the World Cup overall podium back in 2017, which is pretty cool from a couple of kids that come from somewhere that don't really have that many mountains. So we touch on that, and also just like some tips and tricks on how to become a better racer and mountain biker, and yeah, just kind of why he loves doing this and kind of the struggle sometimes that come with the job. So we go in depth on a lot of stuff in a quick 40-minute interview, but yeah, hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, here you go, Connor Freaon, everybody. Kind of hoi hoi.
I feel like I'm following a lot of people.
Alright, mate, there's your microphone. Spit some rhymes into it.
Can you do testing, or do you know if it's...
I think it's working.
Okay.
I actually don't really know that much about podcasting. I might look like I do, but I actually have no idea.
Hope she's on.
Yeah, you're just talking to it, mate. I'm pretty sure it's
It
working.
was a bit like, do you have headphones or something? You're like...
You do normally have headphones. I think it's pretty good. They're not spiking.
Yeah,
Can you just talk into it?
Testing, Medina, National Park,
Yeah, we're
camping full.
We're good. So we've just been kicked out of camp spot number 1, and we're in camp spot number 2. Karen came and kicked us out.
Yeah.
She didn't know we were running a real high-end podcast.
It's hard to get a camera spot around here.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. You think everyone would be quite nice in Medina.
Yeah, apparently not.
But yeah, we're in Medina at the moment. Well, we're just out of Medina, actually. How would you sum up Medina? What would you, if you would describe it to someone? What it's like, or what this place is?
I would say just like the best riding in Australia. Kind of not what we have on the mainland, not what people expect is typically Australian tracks, like it's rainforest.
It kind of, it shits over everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just like the sickest terrain, like that you just don't get in most of the mainland. So we got to jump the ditch and come over to Tassie, and like it's 800 metres high mountain. Like it's huge.
You don't really get that in Oz, do you? What would be like the closest thing, do you reckon, in Oz that would be similar? There's not really like because we don't have rainforest. That's the thing. Or you go up towards Cairns, but it's real small still. It's like you've got a hill, but there's not much there.
I don't know. I guess like where you live in Bry's, like steep technical terrain, but it's completely different.
You're just blown out, dry, rocky. I
it's really like I think nothing else. Maybe like Queensland has stuff that I've never been to that has stuff similar, but
this is like one and done.
Yeah, nothing where I live.
I was going to say I don't want to compare it to Adelaide, but
just
what's it like compared to Adelaide?
Yeah, we don't have much rain, so no rainforest at home.
But yeah, and how long have you been coming here for anyway? Because you've been doing this a while. My first year was last year, but you did a few national champs and stuff here as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been coming to Medina since I was here on the opening weekend, so I think it was like 4 years ago, maybe. Yeah. Or 3 years, I can't remember. But
and it's a fair hike for you to get here as well. Like it's not easy. Like it's like a 8-hour drive, and then
so from Adelaide where I live, it's probably like 9 hours to get to the ferry in Melbourne. Then it's like a 12-hour ferry, so overnight or during the day. Then what's another like 5 hours or 4 hours
to get down here?
To drive once you're in Tassie.
You wouldn't really do it if it wasn't worth actually coming to, though. Hey,
nah.
Like where else would pull you to? Come
I know.
Ride?
Like it's 2 days, like full travel to get here, and like the ferry costs $1,000.
Yeah. But it's still worth it, hey?
Oh, worth it. So
you get here and you're like, I'll do that again.
Yeah.
How do we get more stuff like this on the mainland? Like I know we need, but it's not even rainforest, but like you need would you want to get more involved in like trail building? Because I feel like this place is so good because half the people that built it are like Dan Booker, Baxter, all that. Like I think when athletes that actually can ride build trails, it obviously makes like obviously the terrain's really good, but then you still need someone that actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's also just like they had the sickest terrain, and they went in wanting to build a really like challenging like technical place, not just make easy tracks to get numbers to go ride it, and like they're not trying to tend to the masses. They just want the high level riders, I guess. Like they have some green and blue tracks, but most of it is pretty gnarly. So
That's the thing. Like the easy ones, people can still get down. But
Yeah.
like I think now a lot of people make trails and they like go for like the amount of trail network.
Yeah.
Now people sell like, oh, we have this much trail. Like we have how many Ks of trail network, but like their trail network is not that good
Yeah.
really. Where it's like, can't you just tell me how good your tracks are? Like
Yeah.
almost get them rated in a way.
yeah, I know. Like, there's just, you want good quality tracks, not just like amount of tracks. But I guess Frenchie, the guy who started Maydena, like he just went in with a vision to just make it sick. And
Yeah, he's saying as well, because obviously he owns the land that he's built the track on.
Yeah.
And he's pretty, like, he was talking to me at the after party. He's like, you can't do it otherwise. Like I think like just say Threadbow and stuff
Yeah.
like that, they have so much like restrictions because of
Yeah.
national parks, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of places have that as well. So it's like they try and do something and then it's like, no, you can't. Like it just all gets shut down.
Yeah.
Because you think how many trails do they have at Maydena?
I don't know, but I was just, when you said that, I was like, man, Threadbow has been around for like 25 years, and it
Yeah.
has three
Three
tracks,
trails, yeah.
and this is,
It bums,
yeah.
bums you out, hey?
It does.
Because you go there and you're like, I've ridden this for the last 16 years of my life.
And it's like Threadbow has so much potential to have really good quality bike tracks, but
Like we always joke about, imagine if they just lifted Maydena, like put that hill at Threadbow. Like
Yeah.
you would literally live there. Like you could,
you
you
would
could
live
base
there.
yourself there for like months on end.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing about coming down here. Like you want to come down here, but like you kind of also want to have a bit more going on. Like it's very, it's super secluded. It's
Yeah.
like you're in this little bubble. It is Maydena.
You actually are just in your little Maydena bubble and just shredding. But yeah, like it's a shame that Threadbow don't want to.
Well, they can't. That's the thing. Yeah, they try to. Like even talking to like Timmy Windshuttle, they're like every time they would put something forward, they would just be like shut it down, and it's like really baby steps to try and get anything done. So it's just like how do you step out of that and how do you like move forward when you got national parks like kind of down your throat the whole time?
Yeah, I guess Frenchie must have the keys to the kingdom with Maydena, and
that's what he said. He can go up and do anything he wants, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I was even joking around. I was like, I want to come build a trail, and he's like, go for it.
Yeah.
It's like you come mark it out. We'll help you build it. And I was like, to have that freedom.
Yeah.
Where Threadbow's like, you want to build it? Here's the paperwork, or like fill out this and let's do studies.
In 10 years when we approve it.
Yeah, because it is a bit of a bummer when you like I actually really enjoy going to Threadbow. I just really don't enjoy riding that track.
Yeah, I know.
Bit of a nemesis track.
Yeah.
Even on top of that, but yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. But
it's the Australian Fort William just never changes.
literally, yeah. Like that hole's going to be there next year as well. Yeah, but back to Maydena. So you've just taken out the title, and this is your first elite men's title.
Yeah, I was trying to count how many times I've came second place. Probably like six at least, I reckon. Yeah.
Remember the time you finally beat Troy, but then Jack beat you?
Yeah. So
come on.
Troy's been my nemesis for like I guess almost 10 years of elite national champs, runners up every time.
Even before that as well, though.
Yeah, through the junior ranks. And then I can't remember what year, like 16 or something. Finally beat him, but then Jack beat me, so
slid in.
Got second again.
I remember seeing that, and I was kind of like, "Come on, Jack, just like."
Yeah, I was like, give the guy a break.
Yeah. But do you like, not to take away from the win or anything, but did you feel like it's like a proper win because Troy crashed? Like, obviously you won because like he was pushing to beat you.
Yeah.
And like that's all part of racing, but you obviously wanted to throw down a heater and get him that way, but.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
It's not
like
quite.
like the best rider in Australia didn't have a time. So
yeah, you kind of want him to throw it down.
Yeah, I'd love to get one of these with him putting down a clean run one day.
It's annoying, eh? It's like you can't even like, because obviously like you did win, like because he crashed and it wasn't like something freak accident happened. Like he just obviously washed out because he was pushing too hard.
Yeah,
and I think your splits were like 1-2, like you're
it was going to go close,
so it was going to be tight. So, but it's like I remember seeing you at the finish line and you're just like you look pumped, but you're kind of like it's not the way you want to do well. Yeah,
like, honestly,
it's a weird one, isn't it?
I'm happy that I got the thing, like it's all legit, got the jersey and I can say I've done it, but I don't really
not
care
the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, you got Mrs. Flood asking something.
Dropping in.
I'm going back to cook dinner.
Okay, sweet.
All right. So I just drop you off?
No, I'll drive back. Someone else.
Catch a ride with these guys.
Oh, okay. All right.
Watch out.
There's some weird guys creeping around. This is probably the most off-track experience I've ever podcasted.
Fully off track.
Yeah, this is fully off track. We're in the bush. I've never done this before. This is all new.
Oh, really?
Maybe we should get him on.
Yeah.
Do you want to come sit down and
Off track with friends.
off track with Connor and friends?
Like that much acid in his life.
Is he gone?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, yeah.
He's gonna walk behind us in a second, I reckon.
Oh, it's such a shit day today.
Really? Oh, mate, it's all right. It's not that bad. All right. So for anyone listening to this later on, there was a weird guy kind of walked past and then's obviously been tripping Shelley out. And now Shelley's come and filled us in on the whole scenario. But yeah.
Good vibes.
I'll see you in a bit.
Ciao. Yeah, like you said though, like he's kind of been your nemesis for like it would be more than 10 years now though. Like
Yes.
it's been what?
Like national, Troy's always been like, we both do the best run. He's always just in front of me. But racing in Australia, like, I seem to sometimes be able to get him.
Yeah. Because I remember, I think it was in Adelaide, and this is funny because this is one of my all-time favourite mountain biking moments, and I think it was under 19s.
Oh,
and I think
yep.
Troy had beaten you at every national leading into it.
Yeah.
And then you qualified faster than him. And I think you beat him by like a second or something. Like you beat on it was a fair bit on the short track.
Yeah.
But I just remember like the crowd at the bottom and the build-up, and I was like, because it was that like kind of underdog thing, and I just remember being there like so invested in this thing. I was like, oh, it was so sick. It was like, I don't know, for whatever reason, it was just like this big build-up leading into it. I think being at all the races and seeing it, I was like, damn, like you did it kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was cool to watch.
I think it is cool because like 9 times out of 10 Troy does beat me, but then
You get the
everyone's
odd
pretty
one.
stoked when you can get one up.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. That was probably the last time I beat him at. Oh no, I beat him at the Queensland one. But yeah, the national champs. Yeah, it's always pretty close, but he's always just comes down on top.
there.
Yeah.
How do you reckon that's like affected you guys as riders though? Because obviously that's like you guys were head and shoulders above everyone. Like I remember you guys would come to like small races, and I remember there was like one in Ilden one year, and I think you were both 14 or something.
Yeah.
And you came and raced elite, and I think you got second and third. I think Sam Hocken won.
Yeah.
But it was like these are two 14-year-old kids, and they're just like hosing everyone, and we're like, what the hell? Like how? Like I remember, I think I would have been like 13 or something, and I was racing under 15s, and I was like, how do I compete with that kind of thing? Like, did that was it more pressure, like because you guys were so quick, so young, or did it make it like you weren't stressed because you were just like it all just seemed normal, just going that fast?
I don't know, but I definitely think we both elevate ourselves along the way. Like we were literally racing each other in under 13s, like back in 2005. So not far off 20 years that we've been like battling. And yeah, he's just like the World Cups. He's always just you got those like he's ahead, like top 3 guy pretty much. Or like on the podium every time. But I feel like at the national level races, like I can still
stick with him a bit more.
Stick with him. But yeah, I think I would say he says the same. Like just growing up with that battle, like pushed us to like make it to where we are. Like, you know, because I always wanted to beat him. He always wanted to beat me, and just I don't know. It's probably like 2 brothers that battling like their whole lives. Like it's almost like that same thing. Like
lift you up constantly.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, is it? Because like as a kid, you would have hated it, like always just losing. But then like you probably look back and be like, he made me go like as fast as I am now.
Sure. Then when like he was a year older, so he kind of went to the World Cups first, and when I saw him, he could do it. I was like, well, there's no excuse for me. Like,
when he became world champion.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have a Shelley flag back again.
Can you make sure you check the windows, because I don't think I put them.
Oh yeah, did you get stuff out of the fridge? Like,
okay. Making meatballs.
And the fridge is closed and stuff.
Shelley just getting dinner prepped.
Yeah.
It's like you say, like it's like almost having like an older brother, because you just push each other the whole time.
Yeah.
And then like you actually realise later on, you're like, oh hey, like I'm probably here because of you, and he's probably where he is because of you.
Yeah.
Because like you guys grew up, like I find it funny that you got, I think was it 20, what was the year you both ended up, he was 3rd and you were 5th in the overall?
Oh yeah, 16 or 17.
Yeah. And like that's pretty impressive, like too, like because you guys grew, especially where you grew up, like you guys literally only have hills. Like it's pretty insane that like 2 kids from Adelaide are both on a World Cup podium, and they literally don't ride like there's no mountains there. Like, how does that work?
That was crazy. Like 2 out of the top 5 in the world that year were just from Adelaide. Like Pretty gnarly.
Yeah, when you like anyone that hasn't been to Adelaide will know where Adelaide is. Like it's near the ocean in South Australia, and there's not a whole lot of riding there. Like we go and race national champs, and what's the track like 2 minutes long?
Yeah,
and it's pretty flat, and like there's not a whole lot happening. So to produce two of the best mountain bikers in the whole world is pretty insane.
Pretty gnarly. We have a lot of trail riding, but when it comes to like downhill runs, there's not many, and they're not over like. For a good track is like less than 1 minute, so
you're good at sprint.
Yeah, good at sprint. Good at for the short haul.
You normally do well at pretty like long tracks, though, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know.
You get like a rhythm or something. I've always struggled.
Yeah.
I'm more like I do well at shorter stuff.
Yeah, the short, punchy ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know what I do. Sometimes I'm suited to like the gnarly tracks, but then I've never really done that well at Valdesol or.
Yeah.
So
I reckon it's because of flats, though. Do you reckon flats play a role?
Yeah, maybe. Like the Valdesol, I like never use flats as an excuse. Like, and I would never change it. Valdesol, it is pretty hard to keep your feet on sometimes.
Well, I remember that's why Jack Moyer converted.
Really?
Yeah,
Just Valdesol.
He went there on his Yeti and he like blew his feet off so many times and then like destroyed his shin. So he's just like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
I think down the bottom where you kind of go off the road and then jump off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did that, blew his foot, and then just like killed his shins, and he's just like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm changing. So he converted.
It would change a man. Shindig.
Valdesol on flats will change a man.
Yeah.
Hasn't changed you yet though.
Nah, stay true.
You gotta be one of the only guys now.
I guess the dog.
Yeah, Brendan, you, Sam, Joe Smith, and that's probably the squad.
I feel like the only dudes racing World Cups now is me and Brendog.
Yeah,
Joe and Sam's kind of moved on.
They're enduring. Did you feel like you had to hold it down because of Sam?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, when I was growing up, it was Nathan, like Rennie, Kavarik, Hill, like three dudes. Like, I was like, it's the Australian thing to do. Like, that's 100% why I never put clips on.
I was listening to some video and it was talking about how like they probably ruined the careers of heaps of kids because heaps of kids wanted because I wanted to run flats as well. Yeah. And when I went to clips, I like same kind of mindset where I'm like, oh, this is like I'm doing the wrong thing here. But then I couldn't ride. I realized I couldn't ride
this
flats.
Is actually way better.
And I actually rode flats the other day in Morzine just because I just don't think I had my clip shoes, so I just tried it.
Yeah.
And then I got a whole new respect again for people that ride flats because I couldn't keep my feet on like at all. I was like, I don't get how you do it.
It's probably just a tiny different technique. I don't even think, obviously don't think about it. It's just me, just like natural. You riding clips, like it's no problem. But
have you tried clips ever?
Yeah, I raced Fort William one year on clip, like probably not for the last 6 years, but I remember I did Fort William one year and I got like 12th or something. Like I could do it.
Yeah.
And I think I did Valdesol one year, but never like
didn't feel right in your soul.
Just doesn't feel right, and I just take them off like because I don't want to. I just prefer riding in flats more. Like I don't know why. It's just one of those things.
Do you enjoy more?
Yeah, like.
Did you not sleep well that night? Did you have like nightmares?
Yeah, I don't know. I do like flats because if I'm going to crash, I like to just jump off the bike. And
you just
bail. You can't really do that with clips as easy, but
no, that would be a good feeling. Hey.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because I. Like touch wood, like I am pretty good at getting out of crashes pretty well. I've had some hugies and been just fine because I can just
get off the bike
and roll. Yeah.
There's no worse feeling than when you're going over the bars and you feel your like legs going like around to hit you. And you're like, oh, you
like try to jump off, but you can't.
You're not. Yeah,
I hate that.
That's like a nightmare, isn't it? It's like all in slow mo as well, and you feel it go. Maybe flats aren't too bad when you think about it like that.
Nah, but like the whole reason is just because Rennie, Kavarik and Sam. I remember like watching Earth and stuff, and when they got first, second, third at Schladming, I was like, there's like
they're
cool stuff.
They're the homies.
Goats.
Oh, that's crazy. So talk about you've just gone off Kona that you're on for what 11 years? 11 years, I reckon. Yeah. Damn, that's a fair stint. That's like for pretty much anyone. There's what normally like 4 or 5 years is like probably the like average kind of stint for most things. But you've gone to Forbidden now. You're part of what's the gang they're called or the club?
Oh, the synthesis.
No.
The Dreadnought. Dreadnought. So our crew we're travelling with around here, like we all have Forbidden Dreadnoughts. So we've been just the Dreadnoughty boys and girl.
And girl. I like the end girl just added to it, even though she's not on one yet. When she does come on one.
Yeah.
Because Timmy's not actually on the team, like the proper team. Like
so I remember this is actually funny because last year I was speaking to Timmy and and we're like, man, if we were just going to buy a bike, I reckon I'd buy Forbidden. And he was like, yeah, I reckon too. And then like quite soon after that, Timmy just bought one because like he obviously wasn't on a team, and so he actually did buy one. He's like, yeah, it's pretty sick.
It's pretty good advertising to just go like
I know,
out of your way to go and buy that.
I know, yeah. Like he was like, I don't want to be like, I guess in Australia being sponsored by a rider, you might get a free bike or you have to give it back. So for someone like Timmy, he was just like, I'll just buy my own bike and I can ride whatever I want.
No, that's
So he got it. He was like, yeah, it's really sick. So
did you ride his, or did you ride one before you actually got?
No, I never rode one. I just
I've heard a lot of good reviews.
Yeah,
like,
they are like, obviously I'm going to say they're sick, but they truly are like, believe the hype.
Yeah.
So when I heard things of like maybe a World Cup downhill team starting and like there was a possibility they wanted me, like I was pretty stoked and just did everything I could to make it happen, really.
Did you feel like you needed a change? Like after
100%. For the last few years, like racing World Cups, I've been just not mentally there or wanting to do it, or I've never been in the start gate feeling like stoked or confident. And like, I don't know, I think that's just nothing wrong with like what Kona team was doing, but I just ran out of steam being on the same thing like year in year out for 11 years.
Well, you look at like, even someone like Anderson, like Jason Anderson now, like he's just gone to Cowie and he's like obviously like winning again. And it wasn't like he was doing badly, but like you could just tell it was like he just didn't even look like he had the same enthusiasm like how he rode. And I think it's like people do need that refresh, and like because you're still working with like the same people, like you're still with Matty DePaul, you still got Ant-Man as your mechanic, so it's not like a huge change, but obviously it's like enough to like make you keen on racing and riding again.
And like you said, I've seen people from like all sports and disciplines change team and they just start excelling again because the change just really like gets them motivated and keen to do well again. So like I was pretty confident that would happen, and it has. Like even just racing Cannonball in here, like I can't remember like being this like just feeling good for the race and stoked and wanting to throw down a run. So I'm looking forward to the year ahead, and I think it's gonna be good. Yeah,
it's easy to fall out of that, isn't it? Like especially like we were saying before, like you do the same tracks, the same things, like you get on a bit of like it's just a bit of repeat like over and over again. And sometimes it's like you do need something to like kind of throw a spanner in the works and give you like a new challenge and stuff like that. Or else it just gets a bit repetitive.
And it just snowballs, like you're not happy, so have a bad race, and then you're even less happy. So like I was just like stressing going to every race and just not feeling like I could do my best. But
did you also feel like, because I've kind of been in those headspaces before where it's like you're not really that happy when you do well, but then you're like you're really bummed when you don't do well. It's like this kind of double-edged sword where it's like I do well and I'm not pumped, or I do shit and then I'm really bummed, and it's kind of like, why am I doing it in a way?
Exactly. Just like the whole last couple of years, I guess with the COVID and everything, like I just didn't. I was getting no enjoyment out of racing really. Like even in the places I'd have good results, I was just like, still got to go to the next one and hope I can do this good again or whatever. It's just hard, but like the change has been so good for me, and I actually am excited for the World Cups to start to see like what I can do, because I'm confident and time will tell. And obviously in the past when you've been that way, it's like you can like the results have come like you were like obviously you've got a second, you've got what were the other like, because you had that year, that 2017 year, you were just pretty much top 10 pretty much most rounds. I remember there was like I think that year like 2017 I was like really almost top 10, like I think there was like 10 races where I was like twice out of the top 10 or something in a row, and I was like,
you're in that rhythm and everything works well and it's easy and you're like, oh, this is the best job ever.
And it is. You honestly feel like you couldn't, and when you do, like it was the kind of headspace I'd qualify like 20th and I'd be like, what's going on? But like last year I would have been so happy to qualify 20th, and I was like, how was I doing that like those couple of years ago? But it's just it is, I think at that level, like just mental, like you just can't, if you're not into it or confident, there's like no way you can compete with those guys. Like,
when you're hungry to actually do well, and you kind of know what it's like to feel like that, so when you're not in that headspace, it's like, because you don't want to push that edge, because it's almost like, why would I push that edge when the prize I get for pushing that edge and it working isn't that good? And if I do it and it doesn't work out, then you get injured or something goes wrong, and then it's really bad. So it's like that it's almost just you need that motivation to actually push it like that. And it's a hard thing to find sometimes.
It is.
Like,
I feel like last year the only motivation was I didn't want to let sponsors who are paying me down. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I need to do well because these guys are paying for me to be here, and I don't want to let them down.
But it's not from internal.
But that's not enough to do it. Like, you need to fully want to do it and be committed, and it just wasn't there. But now it is. So.
Do you think a lot of that as well is because you obviously train a lot by yourself in Adelaide?
Yeah.
Do you find, because that bums me out when I'm like at home and it's like, all right, I'm about to go like for a trail ride for 2 hours by myself, then get back and then do a gym workout by myself and then do downhill laps by myself, and it's like a very like isolating kind of sport in that sense when you don't like you see people in Europe and America and they're always right with their buddies and they're training, and it's like it's like you guys are actually like a team, where over here it's like, because everyone like fast in Oz is pretty separate, like, and it's like kind of hard to actually connect up with people. So I feel like it's like you're doing this solo job by yourself, and it's like you lose a lot of connection with people. I feel like that makes it tricky.
I do like what you said, like it's you kind of watch Supercross and they're with their team all week training, and then same with like the teams in Europe, they're doing all these team camps, and like us in Australia, we're just kind of like on our own.
Yeah, by yourself.
Just like trying to get it done. And then I have the days where you're like stoked to go out and ride and you're like motivated to go to the gym, but then some days you are just by yourself and just like grinding it out. But it's all part of it. Like, we have the option to move to Europe if we want, but
I don't want to.
I don't want to do that
either. But like, imagine if you come to Medina and you had like 2 of your teammates here and like 2 mechanics, and you're doing times and stuff. Like, you'd be like, this is sick. Like, this is way more enjoyable than like me just like grinding it out by myself. And like, it's hard because like if you're doing runs and you don't have other people around you that are fast, you're literally just riding by yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it gets sketchy as well because it's like, well, if I crash
you
or something,
you can't push the edge when you're
no one's there. Yeah. Like, I know when me and Jack were teammates and we would do like go ride together, I was like, I really want to race. I really want to push myself. And then when I'm just by myself, I'm like, all right, another run by myself. I probably can't ride tap because if I crash, I'm going to be by myself for until someone like my shuttle driver comes and finds me. And that's like, how long is that going to be? So I think it does make you slow down a bit, which is it's just I think just being Australian is just
I think that's just part of it. And like, I guess we have a couple races like we're at now. Like, I think that's what can get us through a lot of the times, like having the off-season races, because I know like the last 2 weeks is pretty much that'll be the prep for me, like going into the World Cups. Like, then I guess like I've always just not ridden too much downhill in the off-season, then as the season goes on and I'm with a team overseas, like with a team, it can like build up and kind of progress as the season goes, which is not ideal, but I guess when you're living down in Australia, like it's kind of what you got to deal with.
Do you just like bail on the downhill bike for a fair while when you get home? Like, are you just like, I'm not going to touch that for a few months?
I honestly like pretty much don't ride downhill at home and just save it for
there's not much
trips away. Like, it's just like the tracks I've ridden so much, and I've always like I ride my trail bike, like my Dreadnought, every single day pretty much, like for training because I want to as well. But I'm kind of believe that like if I ride that, it all transfers over. Like I probably have ridden a downhill bike like, I don't know, like since Val de Sol like 3 times maybe since the Cannonball race. So like in 5 months or whatever, like just a couple times. And
well, it does transfer over.
Just like, after a day, I was like felt fine on the downhill bike, and it's not like my skills have gone. Like I've been riding my trail bike every day, and so I think that's maybe something. I guess if you're like a Danny Hart who just does downhill runs like all the time, like he wouldn't think that's good enough. But
different people kind of. But as well with like your current downhill bike, is your trail bike kind of beefed up a bit anyway?
Yeah, it is.
So like, is it just you put different? Do you have a different linkage, or is it just a stock one?
Yeah, so it doesn't have any more travel. I just have this on the downhill bike setup. I have it as a mullet with a boxer, but it's still only 154mm travel on the back and a 180 boxer with a mullet rear end. Compared to the one that's set up as an enduro bike, which is 29 with just like a 170mm Zeb. But surprisingly, like they do feel really different. Like the downhill bike feels
like a downhill
bike, just like kind of stiff. Like it doesn't even feel like it has that much less travel. Just I made it really stiff so it doesn't bottom out on the gnarlier tracks. But it feels like pretty awesome, especially for Australia where it's not. The tracks are kind of like 75% as gnarly as like a World Cup. like
It's
at
pretty much
least-
an Australian bike. Like
Yeah, it
for
pretty much is. Yeah. People are like, oh man, you're riding a trail bike. I'm like, this is probably better than the
Yeah.
other guys riding downhill bikes down this track.
Yeah, besides like a few sections, even like Cannibal, like there'd be a couple that you like, or maybe a little bit more travel would be good. But on the whole, like
Yeah.
that's like, especially at the bottom, like you go so
Yeah.
quick down the bottom there.
Oh yeah, I reckon at Cannibal, which is like a 5-minute run, there was probably like 30 seconds of track where I would have liked a full downhill bike.
Yeah.
And the rest was sick.
But even the thing with that, like you probably wouldn't be going that much slower. It'd just be rougher.
Yeah, it's just rougher, and you just
Yeah.
you can hold on to it. But so I'll be riding that at Lords before the downhill bike comes, and I'm not even really that worried. Like you said, it might be a bit rough in some spots, but I don't think it's going to be too much slower. Like even at Lords, like which is a pretty gnarly World Cup track. But I'm just so stoked on the bike. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
good.
going to be fine. Yeah.
And are you going to race all the World Cups this year, or like are you racing some Enduros and some World Cups?
Yeah, I'm just focusing on the World Cups, like full World Cup series, but I think I've entered for like Whistler Crankworks and just the Whistler and EWS or whatever. Just because I'm there and it'll be a bit of fun, like training or whatever. So, but not really focusing on the EWS, just do it because I'm there. But yeah, make a bit of a World Cup comeback, which I'm pretty stoked
Because that was
for.
kind of like you were kind of going towards that direction. Hey, more focus on them, and then you've kind of like you've kind of come back. Because I did one, and it was good, but it's not the same, is it? It's like not the same atmosphere or build up. Like obviously you don't have to quite risk your life as much, but you kind of also don't get the I don't know. It wasn't exciting.
It's not. It's like you don't ever feel like what you feel when you do a really good World Cup downhill run.
Yeah.
Like you just never feel that at an enduro. Like there's no climax because it's just not the same. And
no, if you qualify second and you're like second down and the crowd's all at the bottom and you've got that build up in the start gate and you're on a good run and
like no one really knows who won. Like even when everyone's finished until you like look at the results and
exactly.
You're just not on the on the edge of crashing pretty much like the whole way down. Like just the World Cup is a lot more stressful because the EWS it's kind of fun because you're like I don't even know where I'm going, like might crash don't worry, just got to do a lot of pedaling. But the World Cup you're like sitting there like this is going to be gnarly, like
you don't know, I could crash.
But it's like it happened, like it's not you crash but it's not ruining your day like it does at a World Cup. Like
well you can still kind of recover and then like you probably drop it down a bit but you can still like win some stages, like get some like it still works out pretty good.
And it's probably not going to change your position over like half an hour of racing like World Cup. It's just so it is so stressful, but like even like national champs you're like this is kind of gnarly, and then like I did really good, so I was like this is awesome. But
I feel like you can't do anything without like anything you want to achieve that's good, you're gonna have that stress of it failing.
100%. That's what makes it so good, like everything comes together.
If you didn't care, like that's like you were saying before, like you kind of stop caring, and then if you don't care, like you kind of even if you do well you don't care. It's like you need that worry to kind of like push you and motivate you. Because like you said today, like when we're talking about how you said like you can only do your best, and like I think you got to put that in your mind, like especially like you're gonna get nervous, but like you can only do your best really, and if your best isn't good enough, well like you gave it everything, but obviously sometimes it can be the best kind of thing.
I know, like it's funny, it's taken me so long to just people have always said to me like just do your best, and like I don't know, you think it, but you just always compare yourself to others. But just like I guess getting older and maturing, like now I can sit up there and like I'm nervous still, but not like nervous as I used to get, like wanting to beat these guys or whatever. It's like all you can do in downhill, you're not racing other people like motocross, like all you can do is your best. Like
no one's going to take you out, nothing nothing crazy like that's going to happen. It's like you got to throw down.
It's just so like I feel like I'm in a good place now. Like I used to get so nervous, and
you used to not be able to eat like breakfast, like
just like the whole day, and like just absolutely hating it. Then I guess like at the World Cup sometimes you go quite a long time without getting a result that you want to get, and like they just kind of snowballs.
What's the point? They go either direction pretty easily, can't it? How much longer do you reckon, I hate asking this question, but how much longer do you reckon you're going to keep doing it for, or do you reckon you like you might do the thing where you kind of go back into enduro or down what do you reckon that, like, obviously it's hard to put like an end date on it because you can have like an awesome year, but like, do you see yourself doing it for like another 10 years or something, or you just kind of just wait and see?
I don't reckon 10 years, like 28 now. I don't like travelling for as long as it takes from Australia. Like, I think it's a totally different game for someone living in Australia to race World Cups or New Zealand or whatever, compared to like Europeans where they, like, most of the races are in Europe and they can go home a lot and travelling's easier. They're not in a different, like, it's a different world for us, like different languages and all that stuff. So that kind of bothers me. Like, if there was like a national series where we could make money, like, I'd be doing that for as long as I could, but that's not the case.
But it's like everyone always compares it to like us to motocross, but I'm like, yeah, but they're in their country. Every round's in their country. They fly home after every race. I'm like, yeah, you've got more rounds and it's pretty hectic, but also you go sleep in your bed half the time. Where it's like we do 4 months stint. And
I'd love to do that. If I could race a national series and fly in, and their races are kind of like 2 days long. Like, they rock up, they do a press day, and then it's all in one night. But our races, it's like you get there Tuesday, like, got to see how the pits, walk the track, then 3 full days of like doing practice and racing. Like, the Supercross thing is like, you can't really compare it just because they can.
No, it's a different animal completely. And I think like the amount of just stress going country to country as well, or it makes it so much harder. It's like you're in America, like the food doesn't change, the language doesn't change, the people don't really change that much. Like when we go just say like Italy and then Canada and then America and then back to like Sweden or something, it's like what? It's like it's a bit of a trip. And that's like, it's just being away from home. I think you kind of get to a certain age where like you're obviously froth your lawn pretty hard. So
like
it's something you don't want to be away from for 4 months.
Like in the first few years where I'm just living at home and like flying out and like, where are we going? But now it's like, you got your own house and it's just like leaving for 4 or 5 months every year is like pretty hard. But for like the next 2 years I'm committed, and if it goes well then I'll keep going.
See what happens.
Like you were saying today, like I'm not going to stick around after my racing career is done and like try to get a job as a team manager or coach or whatever. I'm just going to ride. I know, like, when I'm done, I'm just going to ride my bike for fun, and I don't need to make a living. Like,
that's what I think I'll do. I think I'll just completely step away for a little bit. I think maybe like come back and do bits and pieces here, but I think you almost like, you just need to, it's almost like that change, like from a different bike brand, like you just need to get away from it.
100%.
Because I love when I miss riding my bike. Like,
it's awesome.
When you haven't raced, like you've just finished a World Cup season, you don't touch it for a few months, and you actually like, I actually want to go ride. And I hate the feeling of when you don't want to ride and you have to ride. I feel like it's like this internal battle with yourself that you've like got to do something that you do love, but when you've done it every day for like the last week and you've been pushing yourself, like, I don't want to look at that thing anymore. What do you think you would be doing if you weren't racing though, when you stop?
I honestly have no idea, but I've always just landed on my feet with like whatever happens, so I'm kind of like,
go with the flow.
Something will happen. I'll get a cool job doing it. Something cool, I don't know, look after the lawn on the golf course or something. Like,
so you're groundskeeper?
Groundskeeper. Or
do you reckon you would like race motocross, like even just like enduro motocross or something like that? Because I know you do that a heap. Anyway.
That'd be fun. Like, obviously not doing good enough to make it my job, but
just for a hobby.
It's just fun. Like, I like the enduro moto, like motocross. Motocross is kind of gnarly because I don't want to get taken out. And
I don't think I'd do the motocross thing. I do the enduro though. I raced a couple of the enduros and like it's so fun. Like, it doesn't look as cool as motocross, but like it's actually really awesome to do it. Like, just a bit more. It's actually really gnarly. So, would you go solo or Pony Express?
I do whatever I can. Like I think like there's heaps of races going on in Australia, like Pony Express style races, like enduros or desert racing or whatever. Like maybe do Fink one year, tick it off the bucket list. For those that don't know, it's just like desert race. That's like, I don't know.
Probably the biggest Australian.
Is it like 300 K's one way?
Something like that. That'd just be like bucket list kind of thing. I think it'd just be challenging, just to like push yourself in a different way.
It would just be gnarly.
It'd be interesting as well because, like, like we obviously ride motocross just because it's like for a hobby and kind of fun, but you never actually like. I wonder if you started actually doing and weren't racing bikes, whether you'd get like kind of invested in it in the same way. Like you kind of get obsessed by it in a way. Because like obviously you've got that kind of mind where it's like you can push yourself to like become really good at something. So it's like if that was your focus, you'd be like, obviously got the racing bug a little bit as well. Like how deep into it would you go?
I reckon like because they say you need like 1,000 hours to be good at sport, and like,
is it 10,000 hours?
10,000 hours, and like my motocross bike has got like 60 hours in like 3 years, and the bike I had before that had like 60 hours for another 3 years. So like I'm only at 120 years for like the last 6 years. Like,
you're racking them up.
Yeah, so I need to do a lot more.
Yeah.
But and the I was like, I'm like not a good motocross rider, but like a B grade, I'd say, or whatever, like local B grade kind of guy. But yeah, if you could do like, I would probably spend like 20 hours on a bike in a week. Like if I could do that on a motocross bike, I reckon that'd be pretty good.
Yeah. Because you ever know, like when you ride like kind of consistently, like you feel your skills do improve a fair bit.
100%.
But then it's always like, all right, back to racing mountain bikes. And then you step away for a few months, and then it's like I feel like it's always like a fresh slate. Yeah. It's like you get to this stage where you're like, I'm riding pretty good now, and then it's like you won't ride for weeks or months.
For like 5, you pretty much don't ride. I don't ride for like 5 months while the season is going on.
Yeah, and then you come back, you're like, all right, let's start again. Yeah, and then we got to build back up.
Yeah, it's a shame because I love it so much, but something you gotta, even like in the middle of the season, I don't want to risk getting hurt, so leave the motocross bike in the shed for a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I know what you mean. Last question, I'll let you go so you can go have dinner. If you had one bit of advice to give to someone getting into the sport, what do you reckon it would be? Whether that could be a kid or an old guy, anything, like someone coming in that you'd be like, probably not, could be like either racing and maybe just in racing and maybe in riding, in both, like. Yeah.
One bit of advice I always tell you was like with the flat pedal thing, people think that like putting on clips is just part of progressing in mountain bike, and I just say it's not. Like there's no reason why you have to ride clips. Like there's probably some advantages for racing, but don't feel like you have to. Like I see some people like just struggling with clips, and I'm like,
you don't have to do that.
Yeah, and then for someone like maybe a kid getting into racing, especially as a kid, I would just say just keep having fun, at least till you're in the under-19s category, and then set your goals. Like I want to make the junior team, so I need to be like the kind of top 5 whatever in the races, and just work up there. But pick kids who are like in under 15s and under 17s. Like I don't see the point of looking at the bigger picture when you're that young. Like, just have
fun, enjoy it. Yeah,
like I feel like that's I just rode for fun, and ended up pretty good for me. So
yeah, I think a lot of kids, like you always have kids that are like, how do I get sponsored? How do I get sponsored? And I was like, why is that your first concern? Like, wouldn't you rather just be like, how do I have fun, and like, how do I like get better at riding my bike, not like how do I get sponsored? Because like that comes. It's like if you're good at riding your bike, someone will come find you.
Yeah,
like,
that is pretty much it. Like if you're good enough, you don't need to do anything. Like,
and it's like the whole thing. It's like when you're searching for something, it looks real obvious, but when you're not, it's like that's almost more attractive to people because you're just being yourself and having fun, and that's the person that people want to sponsor. 100%. The kid that's like he's just doing him. Yeah. If you see a kid that's constantly like, can I have tires or can I have this? It's just like it's pretty off-putting. But if you're just the kid that's like having fun with the smile and
100%
doing well with like doing stuff with your buddies that are cool, it's like, oh, that kid's cool. Yeah. No, sick. All right, dude. Well, thank you for doing this.
That's right. Short and sharp.
Short and sharp. Get it done. Yeah. You guys can go have dinner. I can go see my girlfriend.
Yeah, good chat.
Sick. All right, mate. Thank you.
That was sick. This is an epic setup.
It's handy, hey? It works well.